Hello everyone, my name is Majid Rahimi and you're watching part 15 of our classical technical analysis course. In this part we will talk about trend lines and channels. You can reach the first video here if you want to watch this course from scratch. Don't forget to click on subscribe button and the notification bell under this video to get notified when I upload new video. In this video we will see what is a basic trend line, then we will learn how to draw trend lines and test their authority. The logical reason for drawing trend lines is one of the most important principles of technical analysis. Prices move in trends. These trends can be up or down and also sideways. They can also be different in duration. They can be major, intermediate, and minor as we discussed in the Dow theory principles. Trend lines are tools for us to detect and apply these trends into our analysis. Let's start our studies with basic trend lines. If we draw a line in an advancing wave of market through bottoms of each retracement, or on a declining price trend through tops of each recovery, we have basic trend line. Notice bottoms in uptrend and tops in downtrend. You can draw so many lines in your chart which price may react them, but these lines have no significant importance in predicting next movements of price and applying them into our trading strategy. Drawing trend line is very easy. We just need 2 points to start drawing one. For example, imagine we are at the final stages of a bear market. Prices make a minor bottom, then recovers itself, then it declines and make another bottom higher than previous one. Now we have 2 points to draw an upslanting line. If we draw a line through these two bottoms, we have a trend line. It looks simple. But how valid is this line? If these two bottoms happen in short time, like for example in a few days, this trend line wouldn't be that valid. If our trend line becomes too steep, it would be broken easily by only a consolidation sideways. And if our trend line becomes very near horizontal, price may accelerate its uptrend and we have to redraw a new trend line to show the actual trend. We will see how to work with trend lines and how to test their authority, but first let's see why we use them. The main use of trend lines, we can say, is for the time that you have some share and you cannot easily detect any kind of pattern on them, or you are not sure how strong is the pattern you have found. So we can use trend lines for two purposes. I see them in uptrend, you should extend it to downtrend as well. In an uptrend, when the trend line is broken, it signals that the advance has run out. It can signal intermediate trader to get out most of the times faster than reversal patterns. And also when there's no obvious reversal pattern is visible. There's a point here. When we are talking about a broken trend line, it should be in a decisive fashion. We will talk about it later in this video. 2. We can ignore small reversal patterns while prices are still above our intermediate trend line. This can be a test for validity of the signal that comes from the reversal pattern. Okay, now let's test the authority of trend lines with these 3 tests. 1. The greater the number of bottoms shaping a trend line, the greater the importance of that line. For example, look at this picture. We can draw the trend line with 2 first bottoms. When we see the price reacted to our trend line insert bottom, we can understand that this trend line has some importance for us. And if it happens 4 or 5 times, it would be a very strong trend line, and we should consider any signals which breakout from this trend line can give us. Second test. The longer the trend line has been held without being penetrated, the greater its technical significance. But be careful using this test. You should bring some experience to work. If you draw a trend line from the first 2 bottoms, and for example, these 2 bottoms are very close to each other, for example, as long as 1 week, the price may go far above the trend line and break it long after we draw it. This cannot be a good trend line, and we can't say because of a long time passed after we draw it, it's one of the strong ones. Our third test is about the angle of trend line. A trend line which is drawn too steep can easily be penetrated with only one consolidation sideways. In the examples here, we consider the left side trend line much more valid than the right picture. Now let's see how valid is our penetration. For a valid penetration, we will use our usual rules. We need 3% of margin in penetration, and also we need high volume in upside breakout. Again, we should notice that this 3% is not for all markets, and we don't need high volume for downside breakout of the price, as we have talked a lot about them in previous videos. Sometimes we need to redraw and revise our trend line. Look at this picture. If we draw a trend line from the 2 first bottoms and the 3rd bottom show us an invalid penetration, it's better to draw a new trend line through 1st and 3rd bottom, and this will give us a better view about trend. In another situation, imagine that we have a valid trend line which have been tested for several times. Then an invalid penetration occurs in the next bottom. In these cases, we do not redraw a trend line, and we consider the previous one as our trend line. Sometimes prices become steeper and go far from our first drawn trend line. In these cases, we draw a new trend line, and if prices react to it, we can clean our previous trend line from the chart, because our new trend line is now showing the price trend better than previous one. This video has come to its end. We will talk more about trend lines in the next video, and we will see examples of intermediate trend lines in real charts. So if you haven't subscribed yet, you can do it right now. Share our videos with anyone you think that might need them. Thanks for watching, have a good time, and bye.